Good morning. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody feeling today? I'm feeling good. I'm a little constrained though, because I bought this. Went to a place and I bought this super cool shirt, but it's too small. It's too tight. It's a very cool shirt, but oh, it's too tight. It's too small. Ironically, they don't have like very large sizes for D&D nerds. You'd think that you would start. You're selling a T-shirt to D&D nerds. You would sell it to you would start with the largest sizes, but no. So I think this is extra large, which is like two sizes too small. Yeah, DM sized exactly. That's what they ought to do. D&D people tend to be large fat guys, big fat nerds, and big fat nerds don't wear regular sizes. They wear extra big sizes. But it is still kind of cool, and I might get to wear it once or twice before it shrinks. It becomes the kid's shirt. Well, let's see. What are we doing today? Today, we are going to talk about uh, the Hunter Biden uh, impeachment meeting. We're going to impeach Hunter Biden. It's going to be great. Then look at some government shutdown stuff. It's going to be fun. And uh, I think that's about it today. Then maybe we'll cruise the headlines, see what's going on there, and it'll be fun. So if you are watching, paying attention, hop into chat. It's very nice. It's very cool. Uh, there are you get 5 points for every chat message you send me, and then the emojis all bounce around the screen. So that's very fun. Whenever you send one out, they appear on the screen, and I can try and bite it. And you can play slots. You can gamble with those points, as KBP always does. He's very good at it, even though he lost this time, and that's okay. We still love him, even though he lost. You must bet between 1 and 100 points when you gamble. And he's got the most points. He's winning. Doesn't doesn't hurt that he is also a mod and is here all the time, and I can award him points if I felt like it. I don't know if I feel like it right now. Every time, every time he bans somebody, I might give him more points. But uh, he he works for points, but don't tell him that they're free and they don't actually exist and they don't get him anything. Nobody tell him that. I've employed him for imaginary, not real points. It's very lucrative on my part, but I have promised to give him lots and lots of points, and he works for me in return. It is a good system. It is not ethical, or I'm worried that he will unionize with himself, uh, or start like a chat union. That would be terrifying. See that's a little spot? I hit my head on a desk. So I got a little spot on my head too. Jeez. All right, let's jump into the politics. Let's feel them out. Let's get that going. And let's swap our screen over. And we'll get our window capture going here. We'll swap it to this committee hearing. There it is. So, what did I do? I watched 6 whole hours of House impeachment hearing so that you don't have to. You're welcome. I'm a nice guy. That's what I do here. Is I was going to watch it anyway. So I watch it. I find the good parts, and I'm going to bring you the best parts. So um, this is a new plan that no one has ever come up with before. I'm going to call it. I'm going to invent a term for it. I don't know what to call it yet. where I watch the whole thing and then I give you the best parts. I'm pioneering and inventing this new thing. It'll be called New Things. New News. Yeah, that's what I'll call it. I'm so smart. All right, so let me get chat up here so I can see. Tell me how the audio is as well, KVP. And I'm going to play this first little clip from very cool guy, Mr. Raskin.
The House Freedom Caucus said, and I quote, "There is in fact no evidence that
Oh, come on, Internet. You're crapping out right.
Shokin was engaged in an investigation of Burisma, or that Joe Biden's role in his firing was in any way connected to Burisma."
So, very nice, very easy. This is Raskin reading from something from Ken Buck from Colorado. There is, in fact, no evidence that Shokin was engaged in an investigation of Burisma. So, or that Joe Biden's role in his firing in any way connected to Burisma. So, there we go. Anytime a Republican brings up to you the word Burisma, you just laugh in their face. Oh, it probably is at 2 times speed. You're right. I was watching it at double speed. Sorry. That's how I got. Shh, secret. That's how I got through the 6 hours. I am a cheater. Yeah, it's true. So we'll continue with this. So these are Republican people saying that there's no evidence.
Continued, what's missing despite years of investigation is the smoking gun that connects Joe Biden to his never-do-well son's corruption. It's scandalous to use impeachment to establish a counterfeit moral equivalence between President Biden, an honorable public servant who has never been indicted or convicted of anything in his career of more than 50 years in public life, and Donald Trump, a twice-impeached president who's recently been found in court to have sexually abused and defamed a woman and fraudulently inflated the value of his real estate properties while facing 91 criminal charges in 4 separate indictments on everything from conspiring to overthrow an election and defraud the American people to making criminal hush money payoffs to stealing classified government documents and hiding them while obstructing justice. Impeachment is the people's final weapon of constitutional self-defense against a president who behaves like a king and violates the public trust by committing treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors equivalent to them. It is reserved for extraordinary public offenses like inciting a violent insurrection against the American government and trying to overthrow our presidential election. That offense in 2021, whose related crimes have resulted in hundreds of criminal convictions and hundreds more being prosecuted, led to Donald Trump's second impeachment in the House on a massive bipartisan vote of 232 to 197 and a similarly lopsided bipartisan vote of 57 to 43 in the Senate. I wonder how many of my esteemed Republican colleagues here who all voted against impeaching Donald Trump, if they were in the House at that point, can reconcile their votes against impeaching Trump for the grave crime of inciting a violent insurrection against the government with their calls supporting impeachment of Joe Biden for allegedly committing a high crime and misdemeanor that has not even been defined yet, much less proven.
Okay, so it's a lot of speech. It's a lot to take in. So and I think he's nailed it completely. I think he's completely correct that there is impeachment is a weapon, and you can use it properly, or you can use it improperly, just like every other weapon. You could use a weapon like a sword to shave your face. It would be a bad idea, but you could. And I think that's what I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what the Republicans are doing with this idea is they're trying to impeach Hunter Biden, and maybe we'll find something that Joe Biden did wrong, and maybe we can complain about it really loud. And they don't really worry that he's taking up a whole bunch of money. They don't care about taking money. They all take money. They love it. They like it. Their guy does it. They love it. That is the reason they became politicians, is so they could take that money. What they don't like is the fact that Donald Trump is under indictment. And that means that they have to do it to the other guy. Donald Trump specifically told us during his truths truths. I need to get all. I mean, that needs 4 uh, parentheses around it. In his truths, he told us that if they did it to us, we need to do it to them. It's because they have baby brains. Republican politicians have baby brains. And the baby brain says if they prosecute us, we prosecute them. We'll figure out what to prosecute them for later, but we need to do it to them so that the American people can see that both sides are bad. I hear that a lot online. I hear that in comments, and I hear that from people in real life. Both sides are bad. Both sides do have downsides, I agree. But one side is so much worse than the other. It really is. If anybody's telling you both sides are bad, so I don't vote for anybody, they've been tricked, they've been duped, and they have been lied to by the right. Because the right is so much worse than the left in this country. It not even close. Not even a competition. But the right will lie about how bad the left is, how bad Joe Biden is, and how unbelievably terrible it is that his son took this money. While they do it themselves, 10 times worse. Jared Kushner took 10 times the amount that Hunter Biden ever has. And they don't care. Doesn't matter. They need to complain about the guy that's on the other side. There is no ethics to it. There's no guardrails to it. There's no ethical complaint that they have about what he's done. He's on the other team. You hammer the other team. The end. There's nothing beneficial here for the American people. The Republicans aren't working for the benefit of the American people. Get out of here. They don't care. They don't need public officials to be honest. They just need the other team to stink as bad as they do. So they throw mud, but they didn't even bring any mud to this one. You'll see as we continue on. They're mudslinging without any mud. Donald Trump and the Republicans are filthy and covered in shitty, stinky mud. And they can't even find any to throw back at Biden. Because this hearing, as you might have noticed in the title and all over the news lately, has no substance. It has no evidence. It has nothing. They got nothing. They don't even have any mud to sling. So we'll go on to the next little clip. We'll go here. And then the next clip is at, let's see, 55, 53. So we're going to skip over to there. Bring up chat so I can see it. And then we're going to skip to 55, 53. And go.
Should be a cause of concern and circumspection for all the members on both sides. And I want to emphasize what it is that we're here today for. This is a question of an impeachment inquiry. It is not a vote on articles of impeachment. In fact, I do not believe that the current evidence would support articles of impeachment.
He doesn't believe that the current evidence would support impeachment. And what they're doing today is just finding evidence. They're voting whether or not to go looking for evidence. That's not how things really work.
That is something that an inquiry has to establish. But I also do believe that the House has passed the threshold for an impeachment inquiry into the conduct of President Biden.
So what they're saying is we think that there's a crime, so we are allowed to go and investigate. We have no evidence yet, but we are going to go and investigate. And here's the problem when you are speaking to Republicans, because they will make up accusations just to go and do an investigation. I mean, honestly, they will make things up and then say that they're real. And then they will investigate, and if they find it, and it is real, then they get to be vindicated and cheer and talk about how smart and great they are. If they don't find the answers, if they don't find the evidence of this Joe Biden corruption, they will just say that it was hidden by Joe Biden. It was hidden by the deep state. The deep state took it and put it away. The deep state hid it so deeply that you can't find it. And that's evidence. that it did happen. When the evidence is there, proves them right. When the evidence isn't there, proves them right. Because they have baby broken brains. Broken baby brains. Yeah, there we go. They have broken baby brains. So they don't have evidence. Their star witness even says so. So we're going to skip to 110. 58, another good bit right here. This guy is this is Gerhardt. He's the uh, Democrat witness, and he is very much against the other three. So, but I mean, that's how these things go. Is the people in charge of this meeting, which are the Republicans at the moment, they have the most votes. They get to bring 2 or 3 witnesses, and the Dems get to bring 1.
More by the relative strength of the parties than by demonstrations of innocence or guilt. I think Alexander Hamilton knew what he was talking about, and I think what he said may well describe the current set of proceedings. One thing I might add to all of that is that the framers designed an impeachment process to follow or comply with several safeguards. And it's important that we keep these safeguards in mind as these proceedings go on. The first is the necessity for credible evidence of the commission of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. There is not, at least not that I've yet heard, such credible evidence. Let me give you an example of what I fear is similar to the current proceedings. Hunter Biden is arrested.
This is a bad analogy, so I'm not going to bring it up. But what I think he's saying, and I think it makes sense, is that he is that the Republicans are trivializing the impeachment. When Republicans can lie about that both sides are corrupt, it's an attempt to excuse and distract from their actual own corruption. So anytime a Republican gets in trouble, they have to immediately go out and find a Democrat who's done the same thing or done worse, and then blame and then point at them. It's all they are anymore. That is, we have 2 parties in the country. One's mediocre, wimpy, spineless Democrats, and the other is Republicans who do nothing except blame the Democrats for literally everything. I think they would blame Barack Obama for the assassination of Lincoln if they could. They would blame him for it. If they could find just a little bit of evidence, just some way to justify that sentence, they would. And Hunter Biden himself, killed JFK and ruined the entire economy. Hunter Biden, all on his own, has made your puppy run away, and they will blame him for literally everything because they have nothing. They have no plans. They have no ideas. They have no ethics. They have nothing to bring to the people. They have only enmity, anger, unhappiness, hate, and blame. That is all they have. That's all they have. They're the party of blame and nothing else. They have nothing going on. Let's see, what is the next little bit? 142.38. Yeah, I remember this bit. Come on.
Respect to this inquiry. Ms. O'Connor, I do want to ask one clarification. You mentioned in your oral testimony that you had written a commentary entitled, "You'd Go to Prison for What Biden Did." That was, you'd go to prison for what Hunter Biden did. Isn't that?
That's exactly right. I was cutting down words to stay with
Sneaky, shifty motherfucker. This lady, look at her. You'd go to jail for what Biden did, she says. But she left out Hunter Biden. Because Joe Biden didn't do anything. They have no evidence that Joe Biden did anything, ever, wrong or incorrectly. This is an impeachment hearing for Hunter Biden. And she's given up the whole game. You just use the term, you just write the headline the right way. You'd go to jail for what Biden did. Which one? Oh, Hunter. Yeah. So, this is a trial against Hunter Biden. It's great. They don't even care. They're just telling you right out. Well, they're not telling you. They're hiding it, but smart people can suss it out of them. It's just clickbait. That's what it is. She's trying to get clickbait. She's trying to get attention. She's trying to use a headline to get attention, which is what I do. I'm a live stream. That's what I'm supposed to do. But that's not what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be a fact witness. She's supposed to be an expert and an intelligent person. Headline generating hearing. Yeah. Most of these hearings are made for sound bites and stuff like that. So that's why they only have 5 minutes, and that's why they're all posted up on Twitter. It's why Twitter does so well, because you can post up a 5-minute screed of your favorite politician in one of these things, and then everybody can see it and see how smart and good they are. And I'll show you some later. I have some that I would love to talk about, love to watch. Let's see, 208. Where's 208? I think this is just discrediting the witnesses. Yeah, there we go. This guy brings up a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't listen to these witnesses.
Our colleague Ken Buck, a senior member of the Judiciary Committee, said the following regarding evidence linking President Biden to an alleged crime. Quote, "That doesn't exist right now." Now, sir, Ken Buck is a Republican, correct?
Yes, sir.
Senator Mitt Romney of Utah said, quote, "There hasn't been any allegation yet, any conduct which reaches the constitutional standard for impeachment." And sir, Mitt Romney is a Republican as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me turn to another topic here. Ms. O'Connor, here I have a poster of an entry from your professional LinkedIn account. There's your picture.
LinkedIn is the new Twitter.
Apparently. And it says, Law Office of Eileen J. O'Connor. We printed here what you posted roughly 1 week ago. It says, quote, "The Biden administration is promoting and enabling the invasion." That's what your post says, right?
Yes, it does.
And it further goes on to say, if this doesn't stop quickly, then the entire USA will be invaded with millions of military-aged men from many different countries who are ready to cause total havoc while getting paid $2,200 a month in welfare to do so.
Did I write that?
You reposted it, and it says it is an engineered death spiral.
She read it, liked it, reposted it, and used the word invasion. Because she is blatantly, obviously, a right-wing shill. And they brought her here to be a right-wing shill under oath for their hearing. I don't respect her. I don't listen to her. I think that she is not to be trusted. So, let's see. What else have we got? Oh, the next one. AOC. 246. We'll listen to what AOC has to say, because she's smart and cool and correct literally all the time.
Ms. Ocasio-Cortez for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, it has been repeated, and I would also like to repeat that the allegations being presented by the majority are extremely serious, and the prospect of impeachment is also a gravely serious matter, which has been echoed by our witnesses today. And any serious impeachment investigation or inquiry relies on firsthand sworn testimony of witnesses to high crimes or misdemeanors. Today, the Republican majority has called in 3 witnesses to advance their case. Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Now, Mr. Dubinsky, as the third and final Republican witness in this hearing, have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
And Professor Gerhardt, given that you are the minority witness, I assume the same, correct?
I'm not a fact witness, correct.
Thank you.
They don't have any evidence. It's just not there. shot down simply and easily with facts and logic. Dropped right on their head. Anything that a Republican has to say about this should be met with that question. Do you have any evidence? And the answer will be no. It'll be no every single time because they made it up. It doesn't exist. It's not real. Doesn't matter how much they just asking questions. It's a thing conspiracy theorists do, is they just ask questions. Well, how did that building fall if it was just on fire? I'm just asking questions. What temperature does jet fuel burn at? I'm just asking questions. You know, uh, who is the big guy? Huh? Who are they talking about? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, who? Um, they're just asking questions. Who did start all the wars? You know, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just asking questions. This is what conspiracy theorists do, and that's because that's what they're doing. They're just making conspiracy theories. It's very fun, very easy. Anybody can do it. I do it on a regular basis. Let's see what else we got. Then we've got. I think we go. Let AOC go for another minute.
To clarify, two individuals presented today who do have firsthand accounts surrounding the progeny of these allegations are being blocked from testifying by the Republican majority. And I want to explain why this is important. Members of Congress, all of us in this hearing, are not under oath, as we are presently covered by the speech and debate clause. Isn't that correct, Professor Gerhardt?
That is correct.
And the speech and debate clause covers all statements by a member of Congress, whether they are factual or not. There are only 4 people in this room that are presently under oath in their testimony. And those are the 4 witnesses here today. Is that correct, Professor Gerhardt?
That is correct.
And so the direct testimony of the 4 individual witnesses here today are the bona fide words that this committee must use in order to proceed or substantiate an investigation. And I want to emphasize why that's important. Earlier today, one of our colleagues, a gentleman from Florida, presented up on this screen something that appeared to be a screenshot of a text message containing or insinuating an explosive allegation. That screenshot of what appeared to be a text message was a fabricated image. It was a fabricated image. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was the staff of the committee, but it was not the actual direct screenshot from that phone. And in fact, I would like to submit to the committee the actual full context from the Ziegler Affidavit number 1, Exhibit 402, of the full text of that exchange. Do I have permission from the chair?
So the people she's accusing, the other people, those Republicans that on this stage right now, of bringing fake documents, and it's true, they did. They brought doctored, untrue, unreal, fake documents because they are conspiracy theorists. They do not need facts and reality. They need only the feeling that they have, and the feeling that they have is that Joe Biden's crooked. They feel like it's true. So they will go and they will chop up evidence. They will create a laptop that's fake and feel that it's true. And then they will bring it to you and they will tell you that it's true so that you feel like it's true as well. This is why I've been saying for the past couple of weeks that all politics is feeling. All of it, every bit of it, from top to bottom. And I think it's pretty well substantiated now. The Republicans will feel a thing, then create evidence to back up that feeling, and then they will give it to you, and they will push it to you, and they will suggest to you that their feeling is truth, when it's just a feeling. But if they had to look at the facts, then they have time to blast it everywhere. When would they have the time? If they had to look up facts and discuss truth and investigate all the reality, they wouldn't have time for feelings. And then they wouldn't have anything to, they would be busy. They'd be too busy to give you the truth and the reality because they'd be busy. I think you're right. Maybe this is a time issue. All right, what is next? We got another one. Good job, AOC, shooting down the entire thing. I don't know why this is 6 hours long if AOC can shoot it down in a single freaking comment. Let's see. 429. Oh, this guy. I don't know this guy. 429, but he was very cool and interesting. He's at 429.
Expressing concern that Mr.
Not this guy.
Lutsenko
The
had
next guy. This guy's great,
initiated
but-
an investigation into Burisma.
Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes Mr. Kassar from Texas.
Kazar's pretty cool.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to begin with a quote. The people of America elected all 435 of us to do the things they expect Congress to do. Real business, not theater. Try to have some type of prescription drug reform legislation this year. But instead, the majority party is conducting baseless impeachment hearings. Who do we think said this quote? Was it Nancy Pelosi? Maybe Ranking Member Jamie Raskin? Mr. Chairman, you might recognize that quote because you said this in 2019. You said it on the floor of the U.S. House saying...
Oh. Okay. But yes, James Comer is the guy you heard over here. He's in charge of this baseless impeachment hearing. He's in charge of it. Yet he hates baseless impeachment hearings. He said so. But he's on board for this one because it's all political theater. James Comer, the Republican guy who you are hearing in the background, that white-haired guy, does not care about what's true. He does not care about what is actual, factual, or real. He cares only about feelings, and when his feelings are hurt, he will call it baseless. When his feelings are on board, he will call it truth. He has only feelings. His feelings, Mr. James Comer, are hurt when you insult Republicans, but his feelings are happy when you insult Democrats. That's it. 100%. That is his entire politics. He has no principles. He has no ethics. He has no plan for you as an American citizen. He has nothing to make your life better. He has nothing except those two feelings. Happy when Republicans do good, sad when Democrats do good. That's it. It's his entire brain. There is nothing else in his head. And every single thing that comes to his desk, every single proposition, every single bit of political choice that he makes will be based on that one axiom, that one first principle. Republicans, yes. Democrats, no. The end. And he's in charge. He gets to be famous, rich, and important. And he gets to make decisions. And those are the decisions he will make 120% of the time. Let this go for another minute.
Impeaching Donald Trump was political theater. Trump was first impeached for attempting to extort a foreign president into helping the Trump presidential campaign. And if you didn't consider that criminal, how about when Trump was impeached trying to overthrow the results of the presidential election and then incited a violent insurrection against the government? So if you thought that impeaching Trump was political theater, then what would you call this? This is a disgrace. And I hope that someday top Republican officials will find some integrity. In the case of Trump, because you fear his social media wrath, right-wing officials will deny all evidence against Trump, come hell or high water. But in the case of President Joe Biden, you decided to start the impeaching now and figure out the whole evidence thing later. And you still haven't figured it out. Your own Republican-called witnesses today say they don't see the evidence to impeach President Joe Biden. Bunch of stuff about Hunter this, Hunter that, but they've said they don't see the evidence to impeach Joe Biden. That is a disgraceful double standard. It damages our democracy, insults the institution of Congress, and more than anything, disgraces this body in the eyes of the American public. This inquiry is a cynical attempt to tar everyone, to make everyone look suspect, make everyone look corrupt, so that voters just give up and say, there's not much difference here. But we cannot give up on discerning truth from propaganda. We cannot give up on our collective governance. Congress is a place where historically people of enormous integrity have throughout history taken on big challenges.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think he put it really well. Any evidence against Trump is a made-up lie, and any made-up lie about Biden is evidence. And I think that's that could be their new catchphrase. I might turn that one into a short. Any evidence against Trump is a made-up lie, and any made-up lie about Biden is evidence. So that is the basis for every single thing that they've got going on. They've got nothing else. I think this guy is smart and good, and he was right. They're doing that so that both sides look bad, and people give up and stop paying attention. And then you get the disaffected, middle-of-the-road voter who doesn't watch a whole lot of politics. We all know them. They have lives, they have jobs, they're very normal people. They just don't pay attention to politics because it's complicated and annoying and kind of stupid. So they say, both sides are bad, and we don't care. Both sides suck. They've been tricked. If you know anybody in reality that says both sides are bad, it's because they've been tricked. One side is blatantly, obviously worse than the other. Same but different. Yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing. Oh yeah, they're all the same. No, they're not all the same. One side is obviously worse than the other. And this proves it. Anybody paying attention knows that one side is worse than the other. Okay, let's see. What is the next one? Let's see. 458. Oh, it's Maytag. Good old Maytag. 458. Queen of the Karens. And then we get a little bit of a mean girl moment where the girls bicker. And there. Conspiracy theory incoming.
Time's expired. Chair now recognizes Ms. Green from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On July 25th, 2023, Chairman Comer and I sent the Department of Justice a letter requesting information related to victims of Hunter Biden, specifically women he sexually exploited and then claimed as deductions on his taxes through his law firm.
Conspiracy theory.
But he never paid those taxes. Not surprisingly, the Department of Justice did not respond. After
They did not respond to you because you were a crazy person who is not serious.
the DOJ's sweetheart Hunter Biden deal fell apart, by the way, led by the special counsel David Weiss.
Led by the special counsel David Weiss. He's a Democrat, folks. He's not. Republicans wanted him to become the special counsel, and then he did, and then they complained about it. This woman called for David Weiss to become the special counsel, and then he did, and she bitched about it.
On September 8th, 2023, Chairman Comer and I again sent a letter to the same DOJ officials asking about victims' rights issues related to Hunter Biden's sexual exploitations. DOJ once again failed to respond.
She cannot stop thinking about naked Hunter Biden. She loves it. She cannot stop thinking about it. She's seen his fat hog, and she loves it. She cannot get it out of her head.
Yesterday, I found out why they don't want to talk with us. In a new
Because you're a crazy person.
email just released, by the way, from October 2020, could you please display the email? The Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office, DOJ, Tax, FBI, and IRS described evidence they have related to Mann Act violations.
Live stream fail. I feel for this guy because I live stream fail constantly, every day. I do something bad on the live stream, but this guy does it too. I feel bad for him. I feel his pain right now. He's like, he brought up the wrong slide, and then he just cuts the feed. Nothing to do with Maytag, but I know how he feels right now.
By the way, the subject of the email says Mann Act.
There it is. He got it.
First, the title, Mann Act. Then it's clear there are charges on the table while the Department of Justice is in hiding from meeting with me.
I would hide from her too.
The Department of Justice and IRS email and David Weiss's Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office. The email states there are communications with trafficker number 1 and trafficker number 2, and that Hunter Biden had escorts who traveled across state lines. These women are victims, and the Department of Justice is refusing to protect their rights. Not only that, David Weiss, the now special counsel in charge of supposedly investigating Hunter Biden, has been clearly covering up Hunter Biden's crimes since before the 2020 election.
Yeah, you're right, KVP. Gates does this a lot to underage girls, and we have to ignore that. That's not important. That's the evidence. The evidence against Gates is a made-up lie, and the made-up lies about Hunter are evidence. Got to get into the right-wing mind frame.
Which is undoubtedly election interference. David Weiss is complicit and must be removed from the special counsel.
David Weiss. She wanted David Weiss to be in charge. She called for him to be in charge.
We also have more information we subpoenaed. Let me give you an even better example based on an interview with one of Hunter Biden's victims with law enforcement. It says here that the victim, Hunter Biden's victim, stated that Biden told her that his father was the vice president and asked to Google search his name. Hunter Biden's victim stated she told Biden she was not interested in Google searching his name and just wanted to be paid. Hunter Biden's victim stated that Biden then showed her a picture of his father with President Barack Obama. Don't forget his father was vice president then. Hunter Biden's victim stated after she was shown the aforementioned picture, who was the Vice President of the United States with the President of the United States, Barack Obama, she became afraid. After Hunter Biden's victim left the location, she arrived back at her apartment and told her friend, who she was just with, Hunter Biden's victim stated that her friend told her, "You have no idea who you're dealing with." These women were terrified, terrified. He used his father, Hunter Biden used his father,
Terrifying women is a crime, apparently.
Vice President of the United States, to threaten his victim, who he had just trafficked for sex. And the Department of Justice refuses to speak to me?
You're a crazy
Hunter Biden
person.
needs to be held accountable for his sexual exploitation of women. And we've shown more evidence. We've shown evidence.
Again,
This
this is the thing that she gets in trouble for.
is what it looks like. This is what Mann Act violations look
Mr.
like.
Chairman,
I reclaim my time.
I'd like
reclaim
to
my
challenge
time.
the use of this
Hunter
exhibit
Biden
under
should
Clause
be
6
held
of Rule
accountable.
17.
It is sad that my Democrat
Point of order.
colleagues
Point of order.
pretend to care about women's rights while allowing Hunter Biden to exploit women. This is a shame. But let's talk about...
Chairman,
let's
there's
go
a
little further.
parliamentary challenge before us.
The point of
Mr.
order.
Chairman, point of order.
Who's the point? And we'll stop the clock for you, Ms. Green.
Mr. Chairman, our colleague from Georgia has introduced before pornographic exhibits and displayed things that are really not suitable for children who might be watching. And
Bathing suits not
'Cause of all the
suitable,
children.
Mr.
Well,
Raskin?
well, I'm saying I would like the member to be instructed to not introduce any pornography today, at least without running it
A
through the chair
bathing
first.
suit is not pornography,
Well, we
Mr.
can't see it
Raskin.
from down there, so you didn't make it available to the minority before you
Seen
started.
it before. It's
Okay.
on the internet. It's everywhere.
You are submitting a naked woman's body.
This is a bathing suit. This is a bathing suit.
And it has not been clear before this committee.
right.
Glasses on. Do you wear them
Okay.
or not? It's a
I have
bathing suit.
contacts in, thank
Oh,
you.
congratulations.
Mean girls. Getting snippy. Ooh. Yeah. So that was Maytag. Just making up conspiracy theories. She gets to say anything she wants. It's cool. Gets to do anything she wants, say anything she wants, doesn't matter. Let's skip over to some good slides at 507. Let's look at 507. I think that's the end of that. 507, we got some good slides from this guy. This guy is kind of snippy and mean girlish too.
Look, it's like political impeachment malpractice. But look, let's go back at some of the previous comments that my colleagues have given. So the chairman, and I have a slide, the chairman goes on Hannity, right? You guys all know Sean. You appear with him on Fox News all the time, right? And Hannity asks a softball question, right? This is a total softball. Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation, and do you believe you will be able to prove it? The chairman should have just said yes, but nope, he says hope so, because he doesn't have any evidence, couldn't say yes, right? Next slide, please. Then we have Senator Grassley. Grassley says what we all know out loud. We aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate. Chuck, we know. We know you're not interested.
Pause right there. Yeah, we aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate or not. He doesn't care whether the things these people are saying are real. It's all... Sorry. Yeah, I forget the button. See, I did the thing again. You're right. Another live stream fail. I'm so bad at this. So yeah, we aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate or not. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's correct. It doesn't matter if it's factual, because that's not important. What matters is that you accused him. What matters is that you make up some stuff and call it evidence.
In the truth. Next slide, please. And then Donald Trump, you know, he's giving it all away. We know he likes to show his cards. He says, I think had they not done it to me, perhaps you wouldn't have it being done to them. And this is going to happen with indictments too. So, you know, Donald Trump, the tough guy, right? What is he saying? He's teaching the lesson we all teach our kids, right? If they do it to you, go do it back. So look, we're all appearing now in the world's worst acted TV drama, right? It's been picked up for a second season, the Real House Republicans of Oversight. You know, perhaps the material is so bad due to the writer's strike. I mean, how many Republicans, Freedom Caucus members, part of the Chaos Caucus, have said there's no evidence to impeach Joe Biden? And again, of course, we know it's not about the evidence. Why? Here's a list of all of the articles of impeachment that have been filed by my colleagues, some that are on this committee. When was the first article filed? It was filed in January of 21, 2 weeks after January 6th. So before we had a single hearing, before they went through this myriad of phishing, they were filing articles of impeachment. Professor Turley, you said this doesn't rise to the level of impeachment, and you said they shouldn't prejudge. Well, here's a list right here of every single member, many on this committee, prejudging. They're filing articles of impeachment. COVID, Afghanistan, Hunter Biden, and they're all one-upping each other in the Donald Trump Friend Olympics, trying to get invited to the sleepover at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, I filed articles of impeachment against Merrick Garland. No, I filed articles of impeachment against Kamala Harris. Okay? It is ridiculous. But this is what this is about. Let me show you. It's a simple board,
I like this
right?
one, too.
So
Look at this one.
all other presidents in the United States, 50% of the impeachments. Donald Trump, the other 50. Donald Trump has half of the impeachments in American history. But you know what? He's got 100% of the indictments. 100% of all indictments. 0 for the other presidents. Listen, let me do it another way. I want to channel my inner Tim
He
Russert.
gets out the
So let me
board,
go to the board.
the scoreboard.
Right? I don't have Florida. But Donald Trump, impeachments. Oh, how many impeachments? We got 2 there. How many indictments? We got 4. How many for Biden? 0, 0. Donald.
There it is, folks. He's put it out. Look, the Republicans need those zeros to turn into 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. They need it.
Trump is right. He's sick of winning. He's just winning, running away with it. And that's why we're here. We're here because of math. That's what this is about. They can't save Donald Trump. They can't take away the 2 impeachments and the 4 indictments. But they can try to put some numbers on the board for Joe Biden. But the problem is when you sling mud, you got to have mud. And they just don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. So look, we get it. We know why we're here. That's why they say the Biden family, the Bidens, James Biden, Joe Biden's dog, Commander, but not Joe Biden. Never Joe Biden. So when are you going to have the vote on impeachment, Mr. Chairman? What are you scared of? Call the vote. Come on. If you all think there's so much evidence, we're here. Call the vote on impeachment. Impeach him right now. I dare you.
And that guy was really cool. I think his marker board is perfect. That is correct. That is the right way to look at this. Trump has bad points on the board. They need to put some bad points on the board for Biden. That's it. It's everything. And you're right, KPP is fake math. Math has a well-known liberal bias. It's true. Arithmetic is an invention of George Soros. George Soros invented arithmetic, folks. He invented it so that he could add compound interest onto the loans that he's given out and make more money. I mean, how's George Soros going to count all his money if he doesn't use arithmetic? Think about it. And let's see, what is the next little bit? We've got some more good stuff at, I think. Oh, Boebert. Good old Boebert. She's at what, 537, I think. I don't want to listen to all the things she has to say, but there is something important that happens at like 537. She just spits a bunch of more conspiracy theories that are just not real, but that doesn't matter. She's not vaping on the floor at the moment. And she's not getting molested. I know how much you appreciated that, KVP. You were hoping she would be vaping and getting molested, didn't you? You thought she might be groping the guy next to her. You're a sick, sick man, KVP. Just watching porn all day. I'm on to you.
To Joe Biden and the office of the Vice President of the United States. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter to the record the third bank records memorandum produced by this committee on oversight and accountability on August 9th, 2023.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Turley, as an expert on constitutional issues and impeachment, where does selling access to an executive office fall in terms of what justifies an impeachment inquiry, and what is deemed an impeachable offense?
Well, it's two separate questions. What I've suggested is for the four areas for articles of impeachment that you can explore, you can look at some of the criminal code, and that includes things like bribery under 201, Hobbs, the Hobbs Act cases, and those have different standards that I think are relevant. In terms of the impeachable standard itself, there's been obviously decades of debate about that. I would hope that there would be general agreement that public corruption, if the president engaged
Selling any access.
right, if
Yes.
if he engaged in public corruption involving
Any sort of peddling of influence.
If.
Now, as a follow-up, in previous impeachment inquiries, have actions such as influence peddling and pay-to-play schemes like this been deemed as offensive to the conscience of the American people in such a way to warrant an investigation?
Well, I think that there's certainly a basis for this inquiry to go forward. My position is simply that this is early on in an inquiry in terms of linking these, which are still just allegations, to the president, and that's the linkage you have to establish.
Thank you, Mr.
It's early on in the investigation, and you have to link them, which means they haven't been linked yet, which means he said they're allegations at the moment. Allegations, not evidence. This is just allegations. It's just shit talk. They have no evidence. And so the witness, who is under oath, just said it's early on in an inquiry in terms of linking, and they're just allegations, and that's the linkage that you have to establish. He's saying that you have to connect the allegations to actual facts to make it happen. So he's saying that hasn't happened yet. What do you think Boebert's going to do right now? She's going to process that information. She's going to hear that and be like, okay, that's how we'll move forward. We'll try to connect the allegations that we have, the feelings that we have, to the evidence that exists. No, she's going to bowl right past that and go right to conclusions. She is going to, you're about to see her literally jump to a conclusion.
Mr. Turley, it is far time for Joe Biden to stop lying to the American people about his shady foreign business deals. He intentionally misled the American people by using complex maneuvers to pocket millions of dollars from our adversary. He lied when he was vice president. He lied as a candidate to gain the office of President of the United States. Now, this committee has uncovered the truth, and it is time to impeach this compromised commander-in-chief. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
It has literally not found the truth. It has literally not found the evidence that she just said that it did. It didn't do it. It most certainly has not done the thing she just said it done. The witness even said to her that you have to link these things, and it has not happened yet. The witness said you have an accusation and an endpoint, and you have not yet connected them. They are not connected yet, but she doesn't care. She does not care because she literally jumps to conclusions. She actually jumped to the conclusion without doing all the work because she doesn't have to. Because her fans don't need direct evidence. Her fans, her Republican base, does not need direct facts. They don't want it. They don't need it. They ain't gonna get. It don't matter to them. The allegations are the facts. Two people with broken baby brains. Let's see. Well, what are the notes that I take here? And okay, 557, I think, is the last one. And then, well, next last one. Yeah, you can jump right to that conclusion. 557. This one's about the illusion. And it might be confusing, but I'll explain it afterward.
Trust with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their business, period. End quote. Joe Biden continued to double down on this statement throughout the 2020 presidential race. In September 2019, Joe Biden again stated, "I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings." These lies continued throughout the 2020 presidential race. It was only recently that the Biden administration has grudgingly begun to shift their answer on what Joe Biden knew about his son's foreign business deals. In June of this year, the White House changed its position by claiming that the president was not in business with his son. Moreover, media and members across the aisle continue to run cover for President Biden, repeating.
So that's what Joe Biden said. I'm not in business with my son. Not in business.
Shifting the goalpost and repeatedly peddling the notion that Hunter Biden was selling the, quote, illusion of access. Evidence discovered by this committee in its investigation into the Biden brand, however, has revealed Hunter's product went well beyond illusions of access. On display is an example of actual access to the then vice president. During his transcribed interview, Devin Archer was questioned about how many times Hunter Biden had put his father on speakerphone while in business meetings. Now, Archer made it clear during this whole 10-year partnership that Joe Biden was on speakerphone maybe 20 times, while Archer.
So this is the person who was also in the room. Hunter Biden is doing business deals, which is really just him milking money out of people who want to be close to Joe Biden. Because Hunter Biden is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's a shithead who is using his last name to get himself money for doing nothing. This is a bad thing. You should prosecute Hunter Biden for doing these things if he has broken the law. But that doesn't mean that Joe Biden even knew what was going on.
Archer was present. And when later interviewed by Tucker Carlson, Archer went on to say, if you're sitting with a foreign business person and then you hear the voice of the vice president, that's prize enough. That's pretty impactful stuff. Archer later stated, in the rear view, it's an abuse of soft power. Now, President Biden's involvement in Hunter's business deals was not overt. Joe Biden did not email Hunter asking for Burisma's quarterly reports.
Joe Biden didn't ask them because he wasn't in business, which is what he said. But you said that was a lie, and then you said he's not in business. You're proving Joe Biden correct here, guy.
All it takes for Biden to be involved in Hunter's business dealings is Biden crafting and implementing policy based on promptings from his son and receiving payment in return.
Do you have any evidence of that? Do you have any specific policy that was changed by Joe Biden because his son got paid by a company? Name one. Find some evidence. They've got nothing.
Mr. Turley, have you ever had your parents call in during an official business meeting?
No.
Okay. Members across the aisle have characterized Hunter's speakerphone calls during business meetings as, quote, casual conversation and niceties about the weather and what's going on. Now,
That proves that he's not involved with the business. Mr. Langworthy here, you have just shot your own argument in the ass. Joe says, I'm not involved with his business. Hunter calls him during business meetings and they talk about the weather because Joe doesn't know it's a business meeting. Guy, this is literally what they're telling you. And you're saying it as if it's some sort of gotcha. You got yourself. You got yourself. This is exactly what they've been saying. This is the illusion. The illusion that Hunter Biden can get his dad to do things is what he's selling. And then dumb people, business people, give Hunter Biden money for the idea that maybe he can talk to his father about something of substance to those businessmen. But there's no evidence that it's ever happened. Even the witness, Devin Archer, said they just talked about the weather. If I called my dad right now and talked to him about the weather, is he a YouTube streamer? No, because he doesn't know that I'm on YouTube. He doesn't know that I'm here streaming to you. If I called him up right now and said, hey, how's this going? How's work? How's this and that? And then we hung up. Did he do a politics stream? No. Is he involved in a politics stream? No, he doesn't even know that it's happening. That's the position that they have said that's what they have said Hunter has been doing to sell the illusion. And he said, oh, there's no illusion. He's right there talking about the weather. That's the illusion, dumbass. So that's why this is the Hunter Biden impeachment hearing. They're going to impeach Hunter Biden, and I think that they should. They should absolutely impeach Hunter Biden right now and get him out of the office. Get rid of Hunter Biden. He is a disgrace to the office of... What's he elected to again? Literally nothing? Okay, great. And that was all. Well, no, there's one more highlight. Oh, yeah. Are you ready for some sass? I love sass. You guys ready for sass? Here we go. Here's that. There's this. Get out of here. And we're going to go here. And we're going to get some sass with Ms. Crockett.
Say, since we've been sitting here for I don't know how long?
Yes, I've been taking a tally.
Oh, okay. Can you show us? Can you tell us what the tally is?
More than 35 times, the Republican witnesses and Republican members of the committee have used the word if.
Thank you so much for that. Because honestly, if they would continue to say if or Hunter and we were playing a drinking game, I would be drunk by now. Because I promise you, they have not talked about the subject of this, which would be the president. But let me tell you something that was so disturbing as I walked in to this chamber today. As I prepared, I said, what is the crime? Because when you're talking about impeachment, you're talking about high crimes or misdemeanors. And I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the president of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
That was fantastic. I love it. It's future of politics right there. Good job, Ms. Crockett. You want to cruise through the replies down here. Love her. She's amazing. Sick of seeing this lady. So 2 wrongs do make a right. Got it. All the blue check marks. If there's a blue check mark, you know they're just an absolute dipshit. Let's see. So keep your hands on the table. This is what? Oh, he says you shouldn't be beating it right now. But mostly you used the shitter. And AOC keeping it cool in the background. Yep, she articulated it so well. Donation. And I will yield. Mic drop. Oh snap. Madam President, let's make it so. Yeah. Well done. Good job. Future of politics right there, because guess what? I've said it already. Politics is just feelings. And she expressed feelings very well, and she caused people to have feelings. Next leader of the Democratic Party right there. Bam. Let's go. So we'll cruise on down the rest of the stuff. Could you imagine that sass in the White House? I think she would be the most watched president after Donald Trump. You know, like that kind of attitude would go a long way with the people in the middle who are complaining about both sides being the same. Because the people who complain about both sides being the same won't feel that way when that lady is on their side. If that lady's on your side, you know whose side you're on, either her side or against her. So nobody's the same anymore. It's not both sides suck. One side has her and one side doesn't. Fact check, Republicans make false, misleading claims at the first Biden impeachment inquiry hearing. So yeah, this is just a kind of a recap. The 20 million figure is roughly accurate of Joe Biden's family and associates, according to the bank subpoenaed by the committee. The Bidens and their associates obscures the fact that there is no public evidence to date that President Joe Biden himself received any of this money. And it's worth noting that a large chunk of the money went into associates, Hunter Biden's business partners, not even Biden family itself. So they're lying, as usual. Jim Jordan falsely claims Hunter Biden said he was unqualified for Burisma board. Well, that's just blah, blah. Jordan's misleading claim about the Justice Department. Again, Jim Jordan, well-known liar. Key contacts around the wire transfers. Mace's false claim about a supposed bribe. Mace's claim is false. We do not already know that Joe Biden took any bribe. The claim about a bribe from Burisma is completely unproven allegation. Again, unproven. I've been saying it all day. Made up shit about Joe Biden is evidence. Evidence against Donald Trump is made up bullshit in their heads. Let's see. It's more lies, more lies, more lies, more. Yeah. So, what could possibly go wrong? So let's imagine that like half of the people in charge of the government are idiots who don't care about reality or facts or intelligence at all. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the government could shut down. That's what could happen. That's what could go wrong. So the government is probably going to shut down at midnight tonight. That's going to be fun. Right, it is tonight, right? What's the date? How many days are there in September? I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, it should be tonight. Should be shut down tonight. And why? Because Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, can't control his own conspiracy theorist friends. There's his conspiracy theorist friends right there. There they are. And they want conspiracies to be real and true. And if they aren't, then they will throw a fit and shut the government down. The fake things that they've said, the imaginary things that they like, need to be real, and they need a pony, and they need a unicorn, and they need a leprechaun right now, or else they're going to shut the government down. And Kevin McCarthy's not giving it to him. What a bastard he is, apparently. Let's get to the real facts. More than 800,000. Some Senate GOP cutting Ukraine aid or adding border funds. So if they cut Ukraine aid, the Dems will shoot it down. If they add border funds, the Dems will shoot it down. But it's the Dems' fault, apparently. So we're going to probably shut the government down. And then they're going to kick McCarthy out as early as next week. The Freedom Caucus, I would call them the Chaos Caucus, I get rid of McCarthy because they wrote that into their little bill where they can just choose a new speaker just about any time they want. Because he doesn't do anything they want. Yeah, 2019 was that big old shutdown, and it's going to happen again. I don't think it's going to be quite as long because, I mean, wait, there wasn't was 2019 the big long Trump shutdown? Or was it 18? I don't remember. Well, regardless. Donald Trump has the record for the longest government shutdown. And I think that's a bad thing. That's on the bad side of the scoreboard. But if you're a bad guy, you would look at the bad side of the scoreboard as a good thing. So, let's see. So yeah, they're gonna kick him out. He's not gonna be the. We're gonna have to go through another 112 rounds of voting for Speaker of the House. That's what we're gonna do. Get out of here, you. Good old Maytag here again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, to cut Lloyd Austin's salary to $1. Now, this is more of that theater that we talk about. Hollywood, I mean, DC is Hollywood for ugly people, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is playing her part. She has criticized Austin for his handling of the military recruitment and the withdrawal of Afghanistan on the House floor. The platform, after the House vote, there's a loss in confidence in Lloyd Austin's leadership, and he deserves to be fired. So she has put in an amendment to cut his salary down to $1 a year. And in this case, her amendment would be part of the defense spending bill. But despite its inclusion, she told Washington Examiner that she will not vote, that she will vote against the bill because of its additional aid to Ukraine, which other conservative lawmakers have also opposed. So she's adding amendments to bills that she's going to vote down because it's all theater. Doesn't matter if it's good or real or right or correct. She just wants to be in front of the camera telling them the things that make them feel good. Politics is all feelings. She hates this person, and she will make her feelings known, and then she will make her followers feel those feelings. Politics is all feelings. This guy, so this is exciting. Joe Biden faces disastrous defeat if RFK Jr. runs as a third-party candidate, which he's doing. I don't know if I believe him, but it will definitely be an issue. Because, I mean, 2020 election was very close. Very close, in quotation marks. Joe Biden got 7 million more votes, but it was still very close because of our broken, janky, stupid, worthless, outdated electoral college system, which could have swung the other way if like 100,000 people voted slightly differently in those swing states, because the system is broken. And we won't fix it because Republicans won't let us fix it. The system, I mean, imagine having a car that was broken and somebody said, no, you can't fix it because I don't want you to, because it benefits me to have, for you to have a broken car. Why would you want that person around? Why would you accept that what they have to say? Why would you listen to them? The system is broken, and they like it broken because they benefit from it. Get rid of them. So if RFK Jr. runs here, he could siphon off a percentage. If he pulls out 2% in Wisconsin and 2% in Michigan, Donald Trump wins. Guys, that's all there is to it. That's what's going to happen. And the Republicans are going to pay him to do so. Republicans are going to pay this guy to run and buy his spots and buy him advertising and pay for yard signs and political rallies and things like that, so that they can steal 1% or 2% in Michigan, Wisconsin, and probably Pennsylvania, so that Donald Trump can win. Politics is very stupid. It's very stupid. But you have to pay attention. If you don't pay attention, then you get caught by the stupid. 7 million more people. And it'll probably it might not be 7 million, but this is not an unlikely scenario. What's possible that would happen is 6 million people more, 6 million more people vote for Biden, but he loses to Trump, who has 6 million fewer votes, because 1 or 2% in the swing states voted for this guy who was backed by Republicans. How is that a functioning system? That is not functional. It is severely dysfunctional. And we won't change it because half the country likes it that way, because politics is based on feelings. And for the final thing today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, all the important stuff, Mr. Donald Trump. Very important, very cool guy. I've heard lots of good things about him. Except not really. Another suit to disqualify Trump under the Constitution's insurrection clause is filed in Michigan. So Michigan, another group of people have said that, according to the 14th Amendment, he is not allowed to run as president, which I think will have to be decided by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will side in his favor, in Donald Trump's favor, because they're crooked. The Constitution is important when they deem it to be important, and it is unimportant when they deem it not to be important. The originalists on the Supreme Court are going to make some things up because they will feel like that's what the Constitution says. Doesn't matter what it says. They will feel like the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to Donald Trump. So let's see. I know I'm flying through, but I've got someplace to be this afternoon. Sorry. What do we got? We got more Trump news. Scott Hall, one of the 18 co-defendants in President Donald Trump in Georgia election interference case, pled guilty. A bail bondsman is the first defendant to plead guilty. So what's happened here? He got a plea deal. Yeah, this guy, this is the first to flip. This is the first to flip. He got a plea deal, and let me make sure I read this correctly. His plea deal requires him to testify in future proceedings in the case, including trials of his co-defendants, including Trump. This is what gets you. This is why the RICO charge is so important. This guy is going to be on the stand telling us on camera who told him to break the law. And it'll be one of Trump's lawyers. It will be. That's who told him to do his things. This guy did, let's make sure we get the right things here, election interference. He interfered with Georgia's election. Now, did he do that on his own? No. He did that because he was told to. Who told him to? Trump's lawyers. That's what's about to happen. And then we're going to have the lawyers on trial, and then those lawyers are going to be asked, you've been accused of election interference. Why did you do that? Who told you to do it? And they're going to say Donald Trump. And he's going to be found guilty. That is the future I see coming. And that will be great, because he's a bad guy who has a retribution plan. Hooray! He is not exaggerating, posturing, or just being hyperbolic. Take his threats seriously. Let's see. In an interview, I think Donald Trump is the most grave threat we will face in our democracy in our lifetime, and potentially American history. I can agree with that. He's threatening Comcast. He'll go after them. Then America's news media, the country's political class, and among the general public would like to believe, which at this point is delusional. When Trump calls the news media the enemy of the people and evokes the Nazis and their attacks on the Lugan press, he is threatening members of the news media with prison and worse if they dare to oppose him. He will go after all the reporters that tell you the truth. He will chase them down and harm them with the full authority of the states, of the state. He will go after reporters with the government who tell you truth about him. He's threatening to use the Alien Enemies Act against drug dealers and suspected gang members. He will likely use that law to target his personal and political enemies, as seen in his recent attacks on General Mark Milley. Trump is escalating his fascist threats of violence as part of his plan to become America's first dictator. In an earlier interview this month, Trump summoned the white supremacist conspiracy theory lie that Democrats and the left are importing black and brown people from third world countries in an attempt to replace real Americans, i.e. white Christians. So, that is a thing that will be there too. Let's see. In his interviews and speeches and other communications, Trump is also continuing to announce his plans to deploy the military to occupy America's cities, meaning major cities with large populations of non-whites or blue parts of the country. Put homeless people in camps, use the Department of Justice to punish and imprison his political rivals, including President Biden, and criminalize transgender people. The man is a fascist. Top to bottom, beginning to end, he will bring pain, horrible terror to our country because our broken system allows him to win with 6 million fewer votes. What is this? This is the School for Dictators. Suggests that you should, if you want to become a dictator, you got to do all these things. Encourage anti-intellectualism. He does that. Don't listen to the experts. Don't listen to your lying eyes. Listen to me. Undermine moral standards, especially among lawmakers, which is what we just watched for 6 hours. What I watched for 6 hours about slinging mud, even though there is nothing to complain about there. Sling mud at Joe Biden to undermine moral standards. Yeah. Pursue power for power's sake. He does that all the time. It's what he's always done. That's capitalism, basically, but that's a different subject. Develop a spiritual connection with the loyal followers. They love him. He is the God King Emperor. So, 5, rewrite national history. He does that constantly. He makes up things that didn't happen and tells you about how they actually happened and create political chaos, which he is the source of. He is the chosen one. It's correct. Oh, see, yeah, this guy wrote this book 80 years ago. 80 years ago. This plan got written down into a book. And Trump does all of it, all of it. So yeah, he will. Trump is getting worse, more dangerous, and more bent on inciting violence. This is not a presidential candidate. This is a criminal defendant seeking to save his own skin, no matter how much damage it causes. The media must stop pretending this is a normal presidential horse race. I agree. The media can't comprehend this. The media can't. They can't wrap their head around it. The people at CNN, the people at NBC, the people at Fox cannot grasp the idea that someone would be so blatantly, obviously bad faith. They don't know what to do with it. This is a thing that they have been doing for a very long time. They try to be neutral. I talked about this last week. The news wants to be neutral. If there's one person that says A and there's a person that says not A or B, that says B, you bring them both on and have them talk at each other, and then you walk away. That's their usual, normal modus operandi. That is how they operate normally. Bring in person who says A, bring in person who says B, have them talk at each other, the end. Don't pick a side, be neutral. And we see that when they talk about climate change. 99% of climate scientists say climate change is real and it's dangerous and it's going to kill us. 1% of climate scientists are paid by Exxon to say the opposite. So what does the news do? They bring on one person from each side. It's not 50-50, it's 99-1. But you don't see that when it's a one-on-one discussion. So you see a 50-50 debate, but it's actually 99-1. So that is, they can't comprehend that 1% guy who is being paid to lie. They can't get it through their head. They can't dig it out. They can't comprehend such blatant and obvious bad faith. So they will just continue to run this as if it's normal. They will continue to cover it as a normal presidential horse race. And if RFK Jr. picks up 2% in a couple of swing states, Joe Biden loses. And we will get straight up fascism in the country. And then they'll come for us. They'll come for me because of all my millions of viewers. See up here? Yeah, all those millions of people watching, they're going to come for me. And I'm joking, of course, but there are people they will come for. They will come for the transgenders. They will come for the gays. They will come for the very important left-wing news people. And they can't hide. I can pretend to be conservative. I can talk with a southern accent and pretend that I was always in favor of getting rid of Joe Brandon. Fuck Joe Brandon, right? I can pretend. I can blend in. I shouldn't have to, but I can. I have that privilege to pretend to be Republican. I can pull it off. I've been watching them. I was raised by them. I know where they are, how they live, and how they think. So I could pretend to be one if necessary, and that would keep me alive. But there are people who can't pretend. There are people who can't pass as Republican. Anyway, what am I rambling about? Okay, we got a very good little bit to go out on. So here we go. Your minute of just pure brilliance.
We're sending billions of dollars to California for forest fires. Their forests are burning down. And I was with a gentleman, a very top person in Austria. He said, sir, we have more flammable trees than you do on your coast.
No.
We don't have forest fires. We have land management. They take care of the land. They pick up the dead trees. You know, a tree doesn't burn very easily unless it's dead. Then it gets dry and it burns. The leaves on the ground, they're 5 feet thick over here. They clean the floor. And everybody said, oh, how ridiculous management of a forest. You know, they all said, like, what the hell? But they don't have forest fires in properly run locations. What we have is horrible. And we can actually dampen our forests with water that costs us nothing, that will come pouring down from the north. Wouldn't that be nice? If you had dampened floors, you wouldn't have forest fires. So we'll work on that too. But I couldn't convince this guy, Gavin, to do it because he's an environmental maniac, only for political reasons. You know, he's no dummy. He knows it's wrong. He knows what.
Oh, an environmental maniac doesn't want water in the forest. What are you talking about? What madness? What insanity? Water the forests. That's his answer. Water. You know, California has a water shortage. They're always under drought because they don't have enough. And you're suggesting that we water the forests, which are gigantic, millions of square miles you would like to add water to. I'm not against the idea of adding water to those things. But he says it like it's just easy. Like it would just be one guy sprinkling some around and it would solve all the problems. You're going to have a very large government program to pay for the water, because it's expensive. Water doesn't fucking just fall out of the sky. You have to pay for that shit. Then you would have to organize the dispersal of it. And then you can bring it in on trucks. What are you going to do? You're going to bring it in on helicopters? Those trucks need to be driven by a person who has to be paid, and that gasoline has to be paid for, and then the pilots have to be paid, and the pilots have to go back and forth, and that burns fossil fuels, which add to climate change, which makes it warmer. We're being run by the dumbest of us, honestly. Anybody that tells you that both sides are the same has been tricked and lied to. One side is blatantly stupider than the other. One side is blatantly worse than the other. One side is blatantly more vindictive and violent than the other. They are not the same. There is no same. There is no both sides suck. One side is obviously worse, dumber, meaner, and more hateful. And they get to win with 6 million fewer votes because they have broken the system. And polite niceties aren't going to fix it. Strongly worded letters from Nancy Pelosi will not fix the problem of Republicans. The only thing we can do is, I don't know, point it out, yell at them, tell them they're all stupid, stop being nice to them online. I don't know what else to do. That guy that we just saw cannot be in charge. He's too stupid. He's too stupid. All right. That is it for me today. I've got to go and get some lunch and do some housework. So I appreciate you being here, KVP. I liked it. It was fun. I got to do some really good segments, and I think I'll turn these into good little YouTube vids. And I will continue to poke them out. Thomas has finished his move to a new house, and maybe he will be able to join us soon in the future. And I'm looking forward to it. He and I had a pretty good discussion the other night. You had to hit the rack because it was late, but I posted it up this morning at about 7. I came down pretty hard on investors because I think that they are the blood-sucking ticks that are harming our capitalism. So if you want to go watch that, you could. And I came to the conclusion that I'd be a lot more okay with capitalism if it weren't for the investors. If there were fewer investors or they didn't exist at all, I'd be a lot better on board. A lot more on board with capitalism. But that is that video. I posted that up this morning at like 7 or something. And that is it. That is all for me today. If anybody's watching, feel free to jump into chat and do all the fun things. And I will be back on Monday to talk about whether or not the government shut down. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Good luck. Goodbye.